Hey, this is Chris Dubois, pastor of the Awakening Church. I wanted to discuss with you real briefly the topic of grace. Just recently, I preached a sermon on grace, and I mentioned to the church that when the Christian church often speaks of grace, we use it in the context of justification or the context of conversion when we're first saved. And that is 100% correct and true and great. And we need to talk about grace when it comes to salvation because none of us would be here if it wasn't for grace, God's grace saving us. Ephesians 2 8 through 10 says, or actually 2 8 through 9 says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, lest any man boast." It's not of works. And so often we fail to talk about this in the context of our journey in our faith with the Lord, in the process of sanctification and becoming more and more intimate with Jesus and becoming more and more like Him. But I challenge everyone to think of grace not only in the context of conversion, but also in the process of sanctification. Because we assume that, yes, of course, we need grace to get saved. We're dead in sin, we're lost, we're blind. We need Jesus, we need His grace to save us because we're thoroughly lost. And we understand that, but we don't always understand grace when it comes to sanctification, our walk with the Lord and growing in holiness. And I think that's a big fault of ours because we have to realize that just as it was an impossible thing for us to get saved and how we needed God's grace in order to get saved, we also understand, we have to understand how impossible it is for us to grow in holiness and maturity, and so that we realize our need for grace in the sanctification process just as much as the conversion process. And so often we say, well, look, I got saved by grace, but now it's all up to me. It's grace saves me. Now it's my efforts. It's my doing. It's my striving. It's my abilities. And I got to depend on myself. And I got to trust in myself. And what we fail to realize is that's sin. To depend on ourselves, to trust in ourselves, to find sufficiency in ourselves is pride. And pride's sin. God opposes the proud. He gives grace to the humble. James 4:6 tells us. And but humility is dependency on God, sufficiency in God, trust in God. And I think we need that. In fact, it's a necessity in order for us to grow in holiness, true heart holiness, holiness from the inside out. And I just want to challenge everybody, just as it's by grace through faith for conversion, it's also by grace through faith for sanctification as well. Thank you.